this video, I'm going to help you guys um, understand the exact time that you should be able to contact the narcissist. So there are some mistakes I made personally in those days. The first discard, I made a couple of mistakes, and I want to guys let you know the reason why you will see a lot of people, they are hovered again and again, time after time, and it looks like they cannot let the narcissist go. Before you understand when to contact the narcissist, you're also going to understand, first of all, the effects of the trauma bond. The effects of the trauma bond. Now, when you leave the narcissist, you can leave the narcissist and pack your bags, take your belongings, and leave that vicinity. It does not matter where you go. It does not matter how far you travel. If you have not yet broken the attachments that you have got with the narcissist, we're talking about the emotional attachments. No matter how physically you're far away from them, it is always going to be very, very impossible and even difficult to completely detach and forget about them. That's the reason why you see a lot of people in a few weeks, a few days, when they have detached from the narcissist, when they have left when they have left those vicinities, the very moment they get into contact with the narcissist, that is when the whole thing is activated, and those guys end up getting trapped back into those entanglements with the narcissist, and before they know it, the cycle has started all over again, and they're back with the narcissist in those relationships. Now, the narcissist, it's also going to depend on two factors. You can leave a narcissist without having kids with them, without having any attachments with them. Maybe sometimes there are no bills involved, there are no credits involved, there are no loans involved, there are no kids involved. Maybe sometimes you guys are not even married. Most of the times when you leave the narcissist in that way, it is going to work in your favor. So the only thing you will be dealing with is the trauma bond. But sometimes you're going to leave the narcissist and there's kids involved. It may be you, particularly, who has the kids with you, and you've left the narcissist behind. Or it may be sometimes the narcissist who is having the kids and you're the one who is leaving the narcissist behind. Now, in that case, you are dealing with the pain of leaving your children behind. If you're a person who has left your children behind with the narcissist, so you're going to deal with that pain of leaving the children behind. And you're also going to deal at the same time with the trauma bond. So you're also going to work on breaking the trauma bond. Now, a lot of coaches have continuously told you guys, when you leave a narcissist, guys, it is very important to keep no contact. When a coach has told you to keep no contact, those individuals, they already know what they're talking about. No contact means no contact. No contact means if you're having the narcissist in your phone, maybe you've decided to store her in that phone or him on that phone as baby or as gorgeous or as wifey or as whatever it is name you decide to call those individuals when you've got them in your phone. The first thing what you do, you go to those phone in your phone list and you have got to change the names. Change the names and put that name into something that doesn't mean anything to you. You can put the name, for example, you can change the name, for example, from baby to X. You can change your name, for example, from gorgeous to something different, something that doesn't mean anything to you. It can be a cup, a plate, or something like that. Just put something there that doesn't mean anything to you. Because you see, the thing is, if you've been used to calling a narcissist in a certain way, baby, girlfriend, I don't know, boyfriend, wifey, hubby, things like that, whenever you look at those individuals in your phone and you see their name in those phones, it is always going to activate those emotions that you've always been having together, you've shared together with the narcissist. And that is exactly what is going to activate the trauma bond. And before you know it, you're going to start missing those individuals. And within time, they're going to be back in your life and start causing a lot of havoc and chaos in your life. So when you leave the narcissist, it's important to know, guys, if you're a person who has you don't have any contact with them, you don't have any connections, there's no attachments to them, there's no responsibilities, there are no bills involved, there are no kids involved. Maybe you guys were just boyfriend, girlfriend, there was nothing involved, and you've noticed you've been dating a narcissist and you've decided to discard, or they have discarded you, you're out of that entanglement. It is for you very important to understand you're going to have to go out there you're going to heal. So there is no reason for you even to contact the narcissist in the first place. It is for you a bonus to leave a narcissist when you know you don't have any attachments with them. Now, what you're going to do now, you're going out there and you're working on that trauma bond, because the trauma bond, I've told you guys, the trauma bond takes a lot of time to heal. So to break, so better to say. So a trauma bond takes a lot of time to break. There is people who can break the trauma bond after a year. People can break a trauma bond after 6 months. People can break a trauma bond after 2 years. The trauma bond takes a lot of time to break. So if you're a person who has left the narcissist and you don't have any attachments with them, there is nothing you have got with them between the two of you that ties the two of you together. It is important for you to know you are supposed to go out. Number one, block the narcissist. Make sure that if you don't have any attachments with them, you should even sometimes remove their name out of your phone. Go to your social media accounts, delete their pictures, delete their messages they have always been sending you, delete each and everything that has got to do with you and the narcissist. And on top of that, I've told you guys, it is also very important to remove all the things you have had with the narcissist. It can be the watches they have bought you before, it can be presents, it can be little gifts. You're supposed to get rid of each and everything that you have that has always tied you with the narcissist, because all those little things, you may actually overlook those things, but most of those little things, they hold energy. So if that energy is associated with the person who has been responsible for destroying you over a good number of time, over a good number of years, you have got to get rid of that energy forever, permanently. You can carry those things, pick them up, give them to charity organizations, give them to the needy people, or sometimes you can even throw them away. Me personally, I did not even afford to give those individuals to those things to other individuals. I just preferred to get rid of those things and I throw them in the bin. It does not matter how much they cost. Guys, I can guarantee you all those things you see attached to the narcissist, all those things, they hold their energy. And most of the times, the more you keep on hanging on to those things, they are always going to activate that trauma bond. And it is that trauma bond that is going to lead you back to the narcissist, because the narcissist has set up this trauma bond as a trap for you, to be very difficult for you to move on after you leave them, because they know at some point anyway you're going to leave them. So they set up those trauma bonds to trap you so that you will always keep on remembering them emotionally and you always keep on coming back to them. Now, for the person who has left the narcissist, there's no attachments there. You're supposed to keep on going. Do not look back. It does not matter how low, how good things are looking. It does not matter how much of apologies they will come around and apologize. It does not matter what they're going to say to you. It does not matter who they send to you. You have left the narcissist. You're supposed to know, guys, you have just won yourself the jackpot. You look the other way, keep on going back, keep on going away, keep on moving away, delete each and everything that is connected to the narcissist. Throw all the items that you have, all the belongings you have got that involve you with the narcissist, or you have picked up for the narcissist. Let everything go, move on, and with time, slowly, as you keep on working on yourself, you're going to break the trauma bond. So you will not have any reason to contact the narcissist. But for the most of you guys, this video is for you who have got attachments with narcissist. You have got kids with them, their babies involved, their financial attachments involved. Maybe you guys have got a mortgage, and sometimes you have got to remove yourself out of that vicinity. And sometimes there is these little things that have always kept you together. So you have got responsibilities together. It is for you to understand that you're supposed to apply something what they call the gray rock. If it's something that have got to do with the kids, you have got to make sure you find the minimum time possible. In the early days, I had to actually excuse myself for a couple of months. So for me, it was different, because when I was living the narcissist, I'd already broken the trauma bond. So I'd already spiritual awakened, and I read this trauma bond. The trauma bond had already lifted off my chest. So it was easy for me to go out there and start working on myself. Whatever I was doing, I knew that, okay, so even if I ever meet the narcissist by chance, it would be very difficult for me to suck me back in, because I'd already figured out who they are. But there are some of those guys who haven't yet initially started breaking the trauma bond. So when you get out of those entanglements, go out there, take a couple of weeks or months. It could be sometime 2 months. You have got to sacrifice these moments. Use this time only for yourself. Focus on yourself. Those children that you've left behind, they are going to need a healthy father. They're going to need a healthy mother. So you have got to focus on yourself. The children are not supposed to see you when you're in very sorry state. The children are not supposed to see you when you're suffering, when you're crying, when you're in pain, all these kind of things. So you're supposed to get out and sacrifice this time, the beginning weeks or months. It could even sometimes take 2 or 3 or even sometimes 4 months. Sacrifice that time only for yourself. Now, during that time, you could contact the narcissist, of course, by phone, because if you have got children, of course, maybe you want to reach out to your children. If they're adult children, they've got their own mobile phones, so you don't have to go through the narcissist to contact your children. You can always contact the children directly and speak only about the things concerning you and concerning you and them. Only the things that are concerning the two of you together or the three of you together. Nothing you're going to discuss that is concerning their mother or their father. You're only talking to your children about the little things that concern the both of you. And you should make your conversations very short. And then if you've got out there and you've been putting in this work, you've been decluttering, you've been working on your energy, working on your frequency with the vibration, at some point in time later on, if you have got to meet physically with your children, that is when now you can come back and start getting caught up with your children. But you have got to remember one thing. I've told you guys, I've made a video before, and I've told you, when you meet those narcissists, do not look them in the eye. I've told you, if you have got to meet the narcissist by some chance or coincidence, they just cross your path at some point, you don't have to look them in the eyes. Do not look a narcissist in their eyes. If you have a person who has left them behind, never ever look them in the eyes. You can only do it when you don't have another option. You have always got to make sure that you look away from them. When you're talking to them, look away from them. Do not look them in the eyes. And number two, you're going there, maybe you've got an appointment with the children, you're going to meet your children or something like that. You are supposed to only go there and focus on what has brought you in that vicinity. You have got to pick up your children, make it only strictly that arrangement that you've made. I'm coming to pick up that kids, and that is it. Do not stand there, try to make conversations. What did you eat yesterday? Where did you go last week? And what this and what that? Do not make any kind of conversation, because remember, guys, I've told you, all these things are connected with energy. So the more you get involved with this kind of energy, is the more actually these trauma bonds get reactivated. So that's why you see a lot of times people struggle with breaking this kind of trauma bonds. It is very, very difficult to break a trauma bond. You are ready to contact a narcissist when you've left that vicinity. You've gone out there and worked on yourself. You take a break from your children. I know, guys, it's going to be very difficult sometimes, but you have got to take a break from your children and work on yourself. Those children are going to want to see a healthy father or a healthy mother. You have already left the narcissist. You're still struggling with sicknesses. You're still struggling with pain, depression, all these kind of things. You're supposed to go out and detach for that moment and first of all, focus on yourself. You're going to notice that a couple of months down the road, you're feeling better about yourself. And that is the moment when now you can come back and physically contact with your children. But whenever you have got contact with the children, if those children are young and you only have to contact with the children, you make sure you keep it as short as possible. Come in there, pick up your children, go. No conversation, no details. You're not making any announcements. You're not standing there to start conversations that you know nothing about. Let the nurses deal with their own problems. Let the nurses deal with their own issues. You go there, focus on only that thing that has brought you there, which is your children, and get out of that vicinity as soon as you can. The same thing with when you're dropping back your children. Just come and drop back your children and jump in the car, disappear from that vicinity. Do not engage with the narcissist. Do not ever engage with them. I've given you two ways in this video. I've told you the guys who have gone out there, and you don't have any connections with those individuals. There are no kids, there are no bills, there are no loans, there are no houses, there are no mortgages. You go out there, you block those individuals, remove them from your phone, delete their pictures, get them off your social media, get rid of all the items you've got with them before, when you guys were together, maybe small items like presents or gifts or things like that. Get rid of everything. Focus on yourself. You're going to heal. Do not look back for whichever reason. It does not matter what it looks like. Sometimes you're going to get cases whereby the narcissists, they are suffering, they're in bad shape, and they're calling you around to come around and help them, things like that. Do not engage with the narcissist. Do not make sure you are engaging with the narcissist when you have left those individuals for a long period of time. Focus on yourself and keep on working on yourself. You do not have any reason to go back to those individuals. The individuals who even sometimes try to destroy in the first place. The second incident I've given you, you have got kids with them, financial attachments with them. Maybe sometimes there are court cases going on between the two of you guys. You only appear in cases whereby you need it. There's something happened to your children, maybe something you need to do with your children. You go there and you focus on only that event that has brought you. Do not extend these conversations to something else. Mention only those things that have brought you. It is about the kids, you're picking them up, or there's a baptism going on, or there's what do they call it? A party going on there, something, you have got to be there. You only go and focus on that event that has brought you there. And it has got to be concerning the children. Or maybe sometimes it is a court case. You only go to the court and appear. Make a presentation in the court. Get out of that vicinity. Do not engage in any conversation with a narcissist. The reason why I'm telling you these things is because the more, if a person is trying to break a trauma bond, you are breaking a trauma bond from a narcissist, a very toxic individual, and you're supposed to stay as pure as you can. Because the more you keep on engaging yourself in those kind of entanglements and you keep on making conversations, you're with them, then you're starting to share your stories, talking about this and talking about that. You're spending a lot of time with them. You are also embodying their energy in that moment. And those energies, I can guarantee you guys, those are the energies that actually activate those trauma bonds. That's why you see a lot of guys, when they've left narcissists and they keep on going back there and engaging with them, that's when that's where the whole conversation is going to start. Where do you live? What did you do? What job are you doing these days? Oh, it's been a long time and blah, blah, blah. And before you know it, guys, you're going to end up in bed with those individuals. You'll end up in bed and you'll not know how you got in bed with those individuals. You're going to end up in bed with the narcissist. I can guarantee you those individuals, if you don't make a decision to let them go, the narcissist will never, ever let you go. It does not matter how long it takes, the narcissist will never let you go. So you are the one who is going to stand up for yourself and make a decision to remove those individuals permanently out of your life. You only engage in cases whereby it's an emergency. You have got to be there, and should you be there, you only come there to do what exactly has brought you in that place, and as soon as it's finished, get out of there as soon as you can. Of course, you guys already know, I love and appreciate your support. Book a session with me if you want to, as long as it involves narcissism, narcissistic abuse, spirituality, and self-development and growth. Until then, it's been lovely to have you guys on board. Much love and blessings. There's almost signing out.